Hello and welcome to 5 minutes RFPro tutorials. This is third tutorial. In this video, we will talk about 3D EM analysis using FEM in RFPro interface. Now, before we start, remember 1, 2, 3, subscribe to the channel, enable notifications, like and share the video, and share it with your friends and colleagues. All right, so let's go ahead and understand how simple it is to perform an FEM full 3D analysis in RFPro. Now to illustrate that simulation capability, I will use the same filter which I have used during the last video to run momentum simulation. Now if you have seen my last video, you already saw I perform momentum simulation. I do have the port set up, and under options I selected simulator to be momentum. Now in this video, because I have already done all that setup once, I would not like to repeat all the steps which I done before. So what I can do here, I can simply right click on this analysis, copy, and I can make a duplicate copy of the setup which you can see here. Now first thing I would do to avoid any confusion, I would rename the analysis name as FEM simulation. Now once I'm done, the only thing I need to do is go to options, go to simulator, and change the simulated type to be FEM. Now remember, whenever you are doing FEM, and if you have watched my earlier video while simulating these couple kind of transmission line circuits, it's important to take care of the mesh, because the large part of the result will be about accurately modeling the mesh on the tightly coupled structure. So I will open up the setting for FEM, and you can see here you can define your delta error, consecutive paths of delta errors to be needed, and minimum number of adaptive paths maximum, and so on. Now in this case, I would go ahead and set up conductor edge mesh, and in this case I will go ahead and set my own value of the edge mesh, and in this case I would go ahead and give it 0.03 mm as my edge mesh length. The reason I'm picking 0.03 mm is because the thinnest line in my filter structure right now, and if I go to measurement option, and if you look at here, is around 0.1 mm. So anytime if I want three mesh across the width of this line, I have selected edge mesh to be 0.03 mm, which will create a pretty nice looking mesh in this coupled structure to make sure the results are appropriate. Now, that's the only setting I need to do. The remaining frequency sweep, etc., is already was done in the last simulation which I performed. So I'm now ready with FEM simulation. I will go ahead and run FEM. You can see the setup already has the momentum simulation result which I ran during the last video, and now we are running FEM simulation. So this FEM simulation will take some time, so I will pause the video and we will continue once the simulation is finished. Okay, now our FEM simulation is complete, so we can go ahead and look at the results produced by our FEM simulation. And again, like earlier, you can look at S11, you can look at S21, or both at the same time. Now, remember, the analysis are different. So the first analysis, we also had the results as parameter plot, and that belonged to momentum, and this as parameter plot belongs to FEM. Now, in some cases, sometimes people try running simulation with various settings, and now you would like to compare the results between these two simulations. How can you do this comparison? Well, that is very, very simple. Select both of the analysis, or even if you have 4, 5, 6, select all the analysis for which you would like to compare the results. Right click and now click on show as parameter results. Once you do that, in the result plot window, you can see on the right hand side, you have full EM analysis, which is basically momentum, and then FEM simulation. Now you can disable that and you can see one set of graph will go away. And if you activate, then the same set of graph will appear again. Now, if you would like to change color for your better understanding, you can always do so by clicking on the graph properties, select on plot, and here you can see for the full EM simulation, you can select the appropriate graph or trace, and now you can change the color, for example, to red, and same thing with another parameter result which you plotted. So I turned both of the momentum results to red, and now you can see the same thing on the graph plot. Clicking on the pencil icon again, and we are back to the full view mode, and now you can see the momentum and the FEM results and the slight discrepancy between those two simulations. FEM, because a full 3D, if you have set it properly, it should give you more realistic result, but not always. It pretty much subjective to how good settings you have performed for your simulation in terms of port calibration and controlling the mesh generation for your structure. But that's all for this video. You can see it is so simple to set up and run a full 3D FEM simulation without any complication in RFPro setup. So stay tuned for more information in the upcoming videos on various aspects of RFPro. Wish you happy designing and best of luck.